Everybody, welcome back to Jimmy's Promo, and today's video is sponsored by Best Buy, where you can now pick up the OnePlus 9 and the OnePlus 9 Pro. Now, I've been using these devices for the past few days now, and there's a few standout features that I just have to share with you with my experience. And the first one has to be just a premium feel. Really, both of them, when it comes down to it, they feel really good when it comes down to the weight and the size. You can really stand, sit, angle these things in really any direction, and they do feel really good to hold onto and use. The next one has to be the fingerprint reader and the face recognition. The fingerprint reader is really fast and very accurate, but there's nothing that I've ever seen that is as fast as this when it comes down to the facial recognition. The moment that you just pick up your phone, you look at the device, it's already in the phone, ready to go. It doesn't even show you the lock screen and the little light symbol that goes around the camera, letting you know that it's looking for a face to recognize. You barely even see that. You're ready to go. It's in the device. Then also the 65-watt warp charging. It's phenomenal. I have a recording that I'm going to show you in today's video where it went from 0 to 100% in 30 minutes, which is just unthinkable. I didn't know we'd be able to go from 0 to 100% in 30 minutes. That's a full charge in half an hour. And then the last one has to be with the camera, because with the partnership with Hasselblad, I've had no issues taking amazing shots with this. It doesn't matter if it's pictures, if it's videos, if it's portrait, if it's regular photo, if it's hyperlapse, everything comes out actually looking really good, really natural, nothing too saturated, nothing too soft. And also too, you can have your all-day battery with that 4,500 milliamp hour battery. So, let's just get into it. I'm going to show you guys a little bit closer up of these phones. We're going to go through all of the specs, and then I'm going to show you some pictures, a little bit of video, and I'm also going to show you just how fast this thing is able to charge from 0 to 100%. So let's get into it. Now, having a closer look at the two devices, the OnePlus 9 comes in at 6.55 inch. It does come with a full HD display, 402 ppi. You have a 120 hertz refresh rate, but it can go down to 60 hertz if you'd like. The max nits is 1100 nits with 128 gigs of internal storage. Now, taking a look at the OnePlus 9 Pro, it has a 6.7 inch display, Quad HD Plus. It has 525 ppi. It has 120 hertz smart refresh rate. So this way it can go all the way down to 1 if it's needed to, which basically all that means is when you're not touching the display, you're just watching. These can go down to 60 hertz. This one over here can go all the way down to 1 if it wants, just to save a little bit of battery life. Then the top nits is 1300 nits with the LTPO display with 256 gigs of internal storage. So if you're looking at which device you're going for, maybe you have a lot of content, a lot of photos, you might want to take a look at the OnePlus 9 Pro just for that additional camera sensor in the back, along with the additional internal storage. Now, both of these phones are equipped with Corning Gorilla Glass 5. The OnePlus weighs 192 grams, where the OnePlus 9 Pro weighs 197 grams. This one is rated for that IP68 rating, even though the OnePlus 9 is not mentioned for that, but it is sealed tight. So if your phones do get wet, you will be perfectly fine. Now, before we go inside of the information about the battery of these two phones, I do have to mention that there's one thing I forgot to say at the beginning of the video with the standout features, and I'm seeing it right now just glaring at me in this little glare, which is the top speaker grill. It reminded me of just how great the sound quality is. I believe out of every device I have in this household here, these are the loudest phones that are in this house. So not only can it get to some pretty loud levels, but it sounds really good and super premium. So when you can see that little speaker grill on the top, that thing is there for a reason, and that is to give you a really good sound experience. Now, talking about the battery information here on both devices, first off, when it comes up to the OnePlus 9, you do have 4,500 milliamp hour battery, warp charge at 65 watts, which I'll show you that here right after this. It is very impressive seeing it go from 0 to 100% that fast. Now, if you live in the EU or United States, it does offer 15-watt wireless charging. Now, when it comes down to the OnePlus 9 Pro, you have the same 4,500 milliamp hour battery, warp charging at 65 watts. watts. The Warp Charge 50 wireless. So if you want to charge your phone wirelessly at 50 watts, you're able to do that. I don't have that wireless charger here with me, so I couldn't test it, but I've seen other videos and it is super quick. And then you also have reverse wireless charging for both of these devices. So you can see here that if you wanted to turn on the optimized charging, you can do that. And then right here is your reverse charge. Reverse charge just allows you to charge another QI enabled device wirelessly. So if you have another friend who has their phone going down, maybe if your watch is going down, if some buds are going down, just turn your phone upside down, turn this on, and you're able to charge really any other of those devices. And from my experience, I'd have to say that it works best when it comes down to the wireless, smaller accessories such as your watch and the buds themselves. So taking a look at the Warp charging, I did completely deplete the batteries on both of the phones. They're both sitting at 0%. So we'll watch this video just a couple times, and on the next time I will be slowing it down. But I had both phones turned off because if your phone is completely dead and you have to leave in 5 minutes, then more than likely that's the way you're going to leave it sit. So after 5 minutes from 0%, it went all the way up to 23%. Then I wanted to charge it for 5 additional minutes for the total of 10. And so I did turn it on for that second 5-minute period. So it was off for 5, on for 5, and it reached 43%. Then after 20 minutes, the OnePlus 9 was sitting at 80%, the OnePlus 9 Pro sitting at 82%, and then this is where it shows the grand finale of after 30 minutes of charging, the OnePlus 9 Pro was sitting at 100%, with the OnePlus 9 sitting at 98%, and all it needed was just an additional minute or two. But I find this thing to be crazy cool that you can get a full charge in 30 minutes. Other phones out there would take half of a charge in half of an hour, which only means 50%. So when you do take a look at some of the other competition out there, when you are charging your phone, you get half of a charge in half an hour. So that means in half of an hour, you're only getting to 50%. But with the OnePlus 9 Pro, you can easily get up to 100% in that same time frame of 30 minutes. So taking a look at the back of these devices one more time at the camera sensors. For the OnePlus 9, you do have the ultra wide sensor at 50 megapixels, the primary sensor at 48 megapixels with a monochrome at 2 megapixels. And then for the OnePlus 9 Pro, you'll have an additional sensor in the back. So you'll have the ultra wide 50 megapixel sensor. Primary is at 48 megapixels again. The telephoto is 8 megapixel. And then when it comes down to the monochrome, that's 2 megapixel as well. Now I'm going to show you a few images on both of these devices just so you can see also how they look on the screens themselves. So let's head to the front of the phone here, and I do want to show you some of what these photos look like. And also one thing too, when it comes down to the fingerprint reader, I did notice that it's a little bit lower than normal. I feel like from the ones that I've used before, they were just a little bit higher. So it is a little bit lower, but it is also, again, super quick. So I want to show you what these images look like when you take a look at them on the screens of the devices themselves. So getting a closer look, the top is the Pro, the bottom is the regular OnePlus 9. And so I didn't do anything special with these photos. I just literally stood and I took the image, I hit the shutter button, that was it. I did not tap the screen to focus anywhere. I did not change the brightness or anything like that. I do have to say, when it comes down to taking portraits, it was a little bit easier when it came down to the Pro, and it really worked with any object I took a look at or any person. And so the only thing you'd have to do now is just to kind of look around just to see some of the lines all around it. So when it comes down over into the OnePlus 9, it is looking crisp. Take a look at this picture here. It's looking really good. Everything is pretty much in focus. And then here it actually did a pretty good job with all of the softness and the sharpness of all the lines around this object. So sometimes you might see a little bit of soft corners around, especially with your hair, if you have a bunch of hair or anything like that. And so this did a pretty good job here, keeping all of the lines very sharp, as you guys know, when it does come down inside of portrait shots. So this here is the regular 1x lens, the normal primary lens, standing in the exact same spot for both of these here. Then we went inside of the ultra wide, both of them looking really good, both of them looking very accurate. It was a cloudy day, overcast sky. And then this is going to be the telephoto, the extra shot here. So this one's at 2x and this one's at 3.3x. Now next up, this one is a slow motion video, and it did a really good job. I tried to stand in the same spot. You can see that it was just a little different with where I was holding both of these phones, but they come off very, you know, crystal clear with both of them sitting right here. So if you're looking for something that can also take some really nice slow motion video, these phones right here can definitely get the job done, and it looks really, really, really good. Now heading over to the next image, this is where I wanted to show off, you know, what it looks like when you're trying to take a macro shot. So I try to stand in the same location. And so taking a look at both of these images here, I think that this one was just a little bit lighter in terms of the color. This one was a little bit more accurate. I felt like this is a little bit more vivid of a shot of an image. But yeah, they do come off really good because there's an option inside of the camera that you're able to do a super macro shot. And this is the same thing as I was mentioning from before. I don't know if it's just because the sun hit it slightly different. Maybe I had a very, very small, slight different angle on it. I don't know if I was standing back maybe just a few additional inches to make this go a little bit brighter, but that's just the end result. Now, when it comes down to these images here, what I wanted to show was what it looks like when you had the glares right behind you. So if you're taking a picture of something at night, if there is lampposts or whatever the case, if there is a sun right behind you, things like that, you can just see how clear this image is. And then this one has just a little bit more of these sun streaks inside of it. So this is a little bit more clear of a shot. Again, this is the Pro, and then this is the OnePlus 9. So I think that they both look really cool. Some people might preference this one, but I do like this shot over here just because it's just crisp. And then right behind me is the sun. Both of them did a really good job. Very, very clear. And if you know, and you're taking a picture where you got the direct sunlight going at the lens, you can see how, you know, difficult those shots usually are, and this just comes off like a champ. So inside of the display settings, one of the things I want to show you is as you scroll down, you take a look at that display enhancement engine. So you're going to notice that the OnePlus 9 Pro will have a few additionals. So this one right here is the Hyper Touch, and then you do have the Vibrant Color Effect Pro. This is Vibrant Color Effect. The ultra high video resolution. You also have video, the ultra high video resolution here, but this is where you have that motion graphics smoothing. So I was watching YouTube, watching some 4K things, and just watching it with that motion graphics smoothing, it does alert you when it is working, when there's something that could activate that feature, and it looks really cool. So when it comes down to the display of these things, you know, you're going to get lost in whatever you're watching, not only just because of the graphics, but also because of the sound. Super, super loud and very immersive. So this phone, both of these phones here did a great job when it comes down to the resolution, the sound, the camera, and then when you take a look at just how fast the fingerprint, the face recognition is, the premium feel, everything like that, you know, very, very good job. Hand clap, hats off to OnePlus for the OnePlus 9 and the OnePlus 9 Pro. So I hope that you guys have liked what you've seen so far with my experience with these phones. I might be switching over, putting the SIM card in permanently. I mean, I'm not going to speak too soon, but I do have to say that there is a strong case for this device to be something that is a daily driver option for me, because this thing is just doing a really good job, really fast, dependable. But I just really like the cameras and the fast unlock. The battery life has been really great. But when you can charge it going so fast like that, this thing is definitely going to be something that can definitely be in your hip, in your pocket, and you're always going to be ready to go. And I do want to give another big thank you to Best Buy for sponsoring this video, where now you can head over, you can click the links below the video inside the description, and you'd be able to take a look at the OnePlus 9 and the OnePlus 9 Pro. If you guys appreciate this video, please give it a huge thumbs up. Don't forget to hit subscribe on the very bottom left hand side. And if you like this video, then more than likely you'll also like the other video. And I'll see you guys later.